Am I the a-hole for not attending my son's graduation ceremony? My son recently had his graduation ceremony. I'm proud of him, since he's the first person in the family to graduate high school, both on my side of the family, and his mother's. A few years ago my son had a bit of a religious phase. He started going to this weekly youth group thing with his friends at this church at the time and picked up some Christian beliefs for a bit. His mother and I didn't really approve of it since we're both non-religious, but we didn't really mind him exploring that route so long as he didn't start pushing it on us. As far as I know he fell off with that phase, but he got to know this pastor there, we'll call him John, that he still sees at said group. My son, without telling me he'd do so, invited him to come to the ceremony and I really don't know what to think. I don't really have too much of a good relationship with religious people. My son having that religious phase didn't sit the best with me since I used to attend a Narcotics Anonymous group in the past and the entire religious aspect of it turned me away before I got help elsewhere. I didn't want to cause issue, so I sat him down and told him that with his ceremony it would either be me or John attending, and not both. He asked why I couldn't attend if John did, and I tried my best to express how uncomfortable I was being around someone as religious as him. He said he couldn't uninvite John, and that's when I told him I wouldn't be attending since I didn't want to cause trouble. I feel bad for not being there on his big day, but I really didn't want to be in an uncomfortable position, or even worse, have that cause any trouble at the ceremony. I'm trying to show him how proud I am of him, but since the ceremony nothing seems to have landed and he's been feeling more distant than usual. Am I the a-hole? Today I effed up by accidentally tumble drying my cat. So I'll start by saying that I have an awesome pair of noise-canceling headphones that I wear when doing chores around the house and they work well, like really well. I'm jamming out unloading the dishwasher and remember I have some laundry to fold and more to wash, so I go to the dryer and had done a load of bedding that was dry but still in the dryer. I decide I'm going to fluff everything up and get out wrinkles before I fold everything. I close the dryer drawer and start the dryer. Now thankfully I have two cats and see the other one standing in the laundry room immediately looking very scared. Puffed out fur, but she won't run away like she usually would when startled. She's just looking at the dryer and back at me, back to the dryer, back at me, still supremely puffed up. I think maybe the dryer is scaring her and she needs to use the litter box which is right next to the dryer. Sometimes if there's change or something left in a pocket rattling in the dryer she doesn't like it, so I turn off the dryer like okay you can use it now, but she doesn't go. She still is just standing there looking all puffy. This is when I take my headphones off and I hear something in the dryer. I open it and cat number 2 comes bolting out. He had decided at some point to take a nap on the bedding in the dryer and I closed the poor baby in there and started the dryer. This all happened in the span of maybe 10 to 15 seconds before I turned it off and thankfully was unharmed and got lots of treats and extra snuggles and I feel like a monster. My other cat is a hero. She got my attention and legit saved his effing life. I am so grateful to her and so happy nothing worse happened.
Today I effed up by asking my boyfriend if doing the deed was all he thought it would be. I've, 18 female, been dating my boyfriend, 18 male, for 2 months now, but we've known each other many years. Now, I've never had a boyfriend, and it was a huge step for me to open up to someone the way I have with him. We were each other's firsts, but he's had a couple girlfriends before. The other night, we were hanging out and taking turns asking questions back and forth. When it was my turn, I decided to ask him if intercourse was all he thought it would be. He waited for a bit, but then said he didn't have any thoughts about what it would be like. My boyfriend's a terrible liar. Plus, I know he's watched P and has probably thought about it before, so I could tell he had something to say. I was a bit pushy and jokingly tried to get him to say what he was thinking about. He finally agreed, but said he thought it might be rude. I told him it would be fine and I wouldn't care, so he said I don't know. I thought it'd be tighter. I don't know why, but it kind of felt like a slap to the face. I can't feel upset because I made him say it, but now I just feel like there's something wrong with me. I wouldn't consider myself a very attractive person, so I'm always worrying about other things when we're being intimate. Now I feel like I have to worry about this too. I also can't stop thinking about whether it's just me, or if his expectations were maybe too high. It never occurred to me that it would be a problem because it definitely hurt the first couple times. Every time I think about it, I just feel like crying and I don't know what to do. Today I effed up by answering my boyfriend's FaceTime. Me, 19 female, and my boyfriend, 19 male, starting dating 2 months ago. We haven't got round to meeting each other families yet since we've both been busy. So today my boyfriend told me he had to go drop off some things to his parents and asked me if I wanted to come. I told him I couldn't since I had some things to do for college, so he left by himself. I spent the morning working on my stuff and at midday I stopped for a break. I was just going to watch TV or something but I needed to poop, so instead I went to the bathroom and sat down. A few minutes into my poop, my phone started buzzing, so I checked and it was my boyfriend FaceTiming me. We may not have been dating that long, but we're still very open with each other and love messing with each other, so I thought it would be funny to answer him. So I answered and pointed my screen down at the toilet and said, "You called me at the perfect time." I was expecting him to laugh or give at least some kind of reaction, but he just went so I pointed the phone back at myself and immediately saw my F up. He had FaceTimed me because he wanted to introduce me to his parents and his brother. And the very first thing I did was point my phone at my V. I panicked and apologized and didn't really know what to do. My boyfriend tried to move the conversation along and we kind of restarted the introduction. I talked to them for about 10 minutes before his dad said, "Well, we'll let you get back to what you were doing," and I hung up. I'm pretty sure his parents have a pretty poor opinion of me now, but there's not much I can do now.
Today I effed up learning sign language. Throwaway account. my mom's been involved with this new guy for a few months now. To be fair, enough time has passed for me to stop referring to him as the new guy, but he's not my dad and I guess that will always make him feel like the new guy. According to movie logic, I'm supposed to hate him for trying to replace my father or whatever, but the truth is, I like him. I like him so much that I've been learning how to use sign language to improve our communication because new guy happens to be deaf. He can read lips, which is how I've been communicating with him. My mom didn't waste any time learning sign language at the beginning of their romance and she's at the point now where she can have full conversations without using her voice. I was really proud of her and so was new guy. I'm not on their level yet, but I've had enough practice to follow a conversation that's not too complicated. My plan was to surprise new guy on his birthday, which is 2 months from now, and wish him a happy birthday as well as officially welcoming him to the family in sign language. However, I never factored in the amount of dirty talk my mom and new guy were having in sign language, not knowing that I can understand them. My mom and new guy have gotten disturbingly comfortable exposing their life in my company. It didn't matter if we were at the dinner table or watching TV, I would constantly catch so many dirty descriptions being communicated between the two of them. They are worse than excited teenagers, and I should know, I am one. Number 17-year-old son should ever witness his mother use her fingers to demonstrate how wet her V is. It's gotten to the point where I'm no longer willing to wait until new guy's birthday to make it known that I can understand sign language because holy F I need my eyes to not see this shite anymore. This is an ongoing F up.
My neighbor's adult son is too hot. Hot dang. I, 33 female, feel like I'm a desperate housewife or in a pee, but since I moved into my house a year ago, I've wanted to bang my neighbor's son, early 20s male. It's not American Beauty obsessive, plus we're neighborly with each other, but every time I see him, I'm like, dang bro, it doesn't help that he's pretty much my type, except for the whole too young thing. I still do my thing, date people my own age, but then I see him and I'm like, huh. To make matters worse, he just walks around in his briefs in the summer, and I do all my own yard work, so his hotness is always in my face. Then, this past weekend, he was all, I'm so bored because I'm home alone, and I don't know what to do, because it's boring. Are you doing anything this weekend? Sir, are you trying to hit me up? Because that's what I would do. So I'm all, no, work tomorrow morning, but that's it, let me know if you want company. Then, my brother in Christ, nothing, I don't see him, don't hear from him until I'm out in my yard the next night, and he comes out and makes awkward conversation about how he thought he saw someone go into his garage. That's 20 feet away from his house, through his illuminated backyard. You must be able to see the frustration coming out of my ears.
I'm pretty sure I traumatized a home invader. I want to start this off by saying this had to have literally happened in 3 minutes or less. When I was in high school, I was often home alone and unattended, relatively good neighborhood, nothing to genuinely fear, so I would spend from around 4:30 to 9 o'clock completely alone in a decent-sized house. It wasn't necessarily scary, but just sort of eerie to me. One night though, there was a break-in. It wasn't anything really scary, because I was down in the basement and just heard the dude break in the screen door and start rummaging through the kitchen. Now, at the time, I myself did not have a personal phone, and the landline is in said kitchen. Due to me being in the basement, I did have my dad's axe to my immediate disposal, but I was not some 6 feet 4 inches man giant. I was a 5 feet 8 inches dude who barely even did PE, so what did I do? I decided to effing throw it at him. I carried the weighty thing up the stairs as quiet as I could, and managed to get the door open enough to slip out with it. I sort of scoot walked into angle, screamed at the top of my lungs, and just effing hurled it at the guy. I missed, but I genuinely think the poor dude pissed himself before he made a beeline for the screen door he'd shattered. The blade didn't hit anything, but dented the wall pretty bad. I eventually called the cops, then my parents. If you robbed a house in Alabama and had an axe nearly embedded in your head, I sincerely do apologize. Hope you did reconsider some decisions though.
I'm so happy I got cheated on. Me and my ex were not a healthy relationship. He quit his job. I ended up paying for everything. We started arguing more. We would go days without speaking. It just wasn't healthy. He cheated with multiple different women for a long time, actually since before we got engaged. One was my friend, the others were mostly brought in from a bar or club. When I found out, I wasn't really shocked. I was hurt, but I had my suspicions, and if you go looking you'll find what you're looking for, and I found what I was looking for. He was bringing plenty of girls back to our place when I was working. This wasn't the main reason I left, but it was the last straw for me. I was really just planning on packing everything and leaving while he was out, and I did with a note and all the pictures I took off his phone next to it. Therapeutic. Had to stay at my parents' while I found a place. Almost 3 months into that I got a message. There was one girl who he seemed to favor and call a lot. Well, I got a message from her boyfriend, and he had a lot to say. We both exchanged feelings about that situation, and it was nice. We then didn't really talk at first, but then we did and got closer, and we planned to meet. We did, and he was really sweet. As more time passed, we got a lot closer and often went on non-date dates, and a few months after we started dating. This was almost a year after everything. We have been dating officially for 6 months now. He's the sweetest. He's funny, he's kind, he's very good at catching the small things. He brings me new flowers for each room I keep them in when they start to die. He has the most voluptuous hair I've ever seen. He always tries to surprise me, but he can't keep the secret for too long. He picks me up from work every Friday when we go on a date. He just recently watched Mean Girls, so now every time he does the get in loser we're going shopping, I just always feel like a princess around him. I love being taken care of and I love taking care of him. I learned how to have a normal conversation without crying, learned that you don't have to yell to get your point across. I don't worry about where he's at 24/7, and I love coming home knowing I'm going to be met with love and affection, and not an argument. I'm so happy, the happiest I've been in a while. I'm glad I got cheated on. I would have never met this man if I didn't. My boyfriend butt dialed me. My boyfriend was at the gym with his brothers when he first called me to invite me to his house. My boyfriend and his brothers have game nights sometimes where we just play Mario Kart and drink, and I always look forward to it. Since he was still at the gym, I told him to call me when they get home and I will head over. About 20 minutes later I get a call from him. Assuming he was calling to tell me he was on his way home, I answered. I said hello like 5 times before I realized he couldn't hear me. I think he might have accidentally dialed me from his call log. He was talking to his brothers about me though. He was telling them how a couple girls were hitting on him at the gym. The conversation goes like this. He said, I don't have time for any gym especially since I get to see my baby tonight. He continues to say, you don't understand how crazy I am about her. She's sweet, sassy, and I overall just cannot wait to see her. He just goes on and on singing my praises, but the real reason I am making this post is because I heard something I wasn't supposed to hear. My birthday is coming up and he's been keeping my present a secret. A little bit about me. I am a photographer, and while I work for a company right now, I hope to one day start my own. He says the camera she has now is a piece of shite. He's not wrong, so I'm planning on getting her a Canon with different lenses. He didn't specify the model. I believe in her so much and I just want to see her succeed. My boyfriend has no idea I heard this and I've been keeping it my little secret, but I have been thinking about it since it happened. I'm so giddy. I have never had someone feel this way about me and I just wanted to tell someone.